So I'm going to stop my share for the moment. And hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Brad Ward. This is Vinnie Macri.
Hello.
And we're going to chat with you a bit today about OISTAT Sound Design Sub-commission and about production intercom systems. But why don't we give it 2 or 3 more minutes, because we still have people joining the call, but I'm glad to see so many people online from all around the country. So we'll come back in about 2 or 3 minutes and we'll kick it off.
Yeah. And thank you for, I'm seeing a couple of people from Asia. Thank you for staying up late.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
certainly good evening to you all.
Wow, good evening. Yeah, that's great. Ira's here.
Of course, wouldn't have missed this for the world. Hello, Brad.
Hello, Ira. It's been a while.
Wow. Is this the mic?
Mm-hmm. That is us. Hello. Is this thing on? Hello, Curtis. Good morning. Jeff. Hi. Got a good crowd.
This is great. I have more video questions for you later, if you have a minute.
All right. Well, I think we're ready to go. As I said, I'm Brad Ward. I'm chair of the Sound Design Sub-commission for OISTAT, and this is our first, I guess, major event that the Sound Sub-commission's done since I've taken it over. I was elected as their president or leader, not president.
Chairperson.
Chair. Yeah, I'm the chair of the Sound Design Sub-commission. I'm not used to these kind of things.
Dictator. Benevolent
There
dictator.
we go. There we go. Thank you, Curtis. I can always count on Curtis. Yeah, so I'm just thrilled to be here, and we're going to try to do these things every quarter just to get people together. And I'm glad to see some other fellow OISTAT people here. Curtis has certainly been involved over the years. And in case some of you don't know, OISTAT is the Organization International of Sonographers, Theater Architects, and Technicians. And sonographers is the way that they say designers. So it's really sort of like USIDT, but all around the world kind of thing. And we just bring people together. And I'm really pleased to see a couple of people from our headquarters in Taipei. Other than the folks in Taipei, we're all volunteers. And we all do what we can just to bring people together. Jeff Sherwood is on, I see, from Michigan Tech. He's our vice chair. He's going to be helping us put these events together through the next 4 years. It's a 4-year term for me and Jeff. So thanks so much. I see Wai Ping there. Hello. She's our director there and our manager there in Taipei. And when I was running to be the chair, I said one of my goals is to bring the world together through sound. And that's what I'm trying to do. I want to make it possible for anybody to be a part of this group. And just we give opportunities for people to exhibit their work, to share and work, to share their knowledge, and to gain knowledge from other people. So that's really the goal. And you know, Vinnie agreed. We've been talking about this for about a year now, right?
Yeah.
Before I was elected, we were already talking about this would be one of the things that I might do. So I'm really, really grateful about that. If you all have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Vinnie's gonna take off and do a little introduction, but then we're going to look at the questions and see which direction to take this thing in. But I want to tell you about a few events that are coming up. The biggest thing that OISTAT does every year is World Stage Design. I'm going to share my screen again just to show you some slides. I think I'm sharing the right one. The biggest thing that World that OISTAT does is World Stage Design, and the next World Stage Design, it's a quadrennial exhibit. It's a festival to connect creators, practitioners, artists, and audiences in celebration of the work of performance designers, theater architects, technicians in the context of theater, performance, and live events. So they do an expo with talks, competitions, individual designer events, performances. The next one's in Sharjah, and it's October 18 to 25, 2025. And it kind of focuses on individuals that from people all around the world. You can enter. It's a juried expo, and entry opens on May 13th. So just stay tuned. It's still being developed. I met with the leaders a couple of weeks ago, and it's really exciting, the things that they have planned. And I'm planning to go over there. I'm hoping Vinnie's going to go with me. I'm hoping to see some more of you over there. But all right, so that's OISTAT. And then the Sound Design Sub-commission, we participate. The main thing that we've done before is Sound Kitchen, which Curtis was part of, and I know a lot of the rest of you are part of too. That QR code gives you a link to all the archive of the one that we did in Calgary back in 2022. It was just really a lot of fun. But this is 2019 in Taipei. When I was a curator the first time, that's the mushroom heads. It was so much fun. It's not juried. It's curated though. It's an exhibit where people can sound designers that do performance pieces can come and just exhibit their work. And so that was Taipei. There's people on the train. That's Hillary from US. That's Roger from Australia. That's Jethro Joaquin from the Philippines. And they're working on something that they were going to present at Sound Kitchen, and I think that's Taipei. So much fun. But you can see we just bring people together. Here in this picture, you can see on the left, that's the people that kind of helped me put the system together for Calgary. And that's the room. We had Timex, SpaceMap Go, and Soundscape all in the same room. And then we took it live on the internet both ways. We had performers abroad remotely and performers in the room interacting with each other. And then to top it all off, Curtis took it and streamed it in multi-channel audio. It was just crazy. This is the kind of network map of everything. So we had everything coming in and out of Dante, going to Milan AVB, going to SpaceMap Go, Soundscape, and Timex, from QLab, from Timex, from any kind of playback that you wanted to. Any performer had access to any system that they wanted to use for this thing. And I don't know, Curtis, what do you say? It kind of worked, didn't it?
Yeah. Took a couple days, but when it worked, it was kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But to get all those people in the room and just to be there and experience it, it was great. It was really great.
I didn't notice that before. How'd you do the sample rate conversion between Dante and Milan?
We had the Avitran, the audio toolbox.
Okay.
That did the most of the conversion. Yeah, it was interesting. And just to get the people in the same room, and we all just learned from each other, but we had fun, and we spend a lot of time in the bars and seeing the city too. So
I wish I knew about that.
It's really good. So yeah, if you're interested in that, come on along to Sharjah. The entries for this will start. You'll start hearing about it after the individual exhibits call goes out. Which, what did I say, in May? I think that starts, and then after that, we will introduce the call for entries for this. And if you want to be on the team, you can already let us know. We're going to meet next, the 25th. Jeff Sherwood and I are meeting with Peter Rice, who's going to be the curator for Sharjah for Sound Kitchen, and also Robin Whitaker from Timex is going to be one of the curators. So if you want to be on the team, please message me. I'll give you contact information at the end of all this. So. But I don't want to take too much more of Vinnie's time, but if you have any comments, you can shoot that QR code. Just do the registration link again, and there's a comments box. You can put them there, or I'll give you my email address at the very end of this. So that's Sound Kitchen. Other things that we do are the Prague Quadrennial. We also run a Sound Kitchen at both PQ and World Stage Design. We're going to do lectures and talks about different things of sound. So if you have any ideas for that, please let me know. Again, we're all volunteers. I'm speaking at a sustainability conference in Taiwan in conjunction with our annual meeting, the board meeting for OISTAT, which I'll be at. We'd love to get some entries in for World Listening Day, which is July 18th. So if anybody wants to head that up, please let me know. We work through Basecamp. So if you want to be on the Basecamp, just put your email in that, shoot the QR code, give me your email, check the box that says you want more information about OISTAT, and I'll put you on the Basecamp. Or you can email me. So before I turn it over to Vinnie, I want to talk about our sponsors who've helped make all this possible. TSDCA, it's Theatrical Sound Designers and Composers Association here in America, the United States of America. And their annual conference is May 18th through 20th here in New York City. It's free if you're a member. It's a suggested donation of $25. If you're not a member, come on to New York. I think some of the events will be streamed as well. While Vinnie's talking, I'll put the link in the chat to the registration for that. I'd also like to thank the Association of Sound Designers, Association for Sound Design and Production. They just changed their name. They are the United Kingdom Association. It's similar to TSDCA. It's in London, and Peter Rice is their president at the moment. And they've been big supporters of these kind of things. And you can check the box there if you want more information about the Association of Sound Design and Production in the UK. United States Institute for Theater Technology is USIDT. And they've just supported me all through my career and things I do. Anytime I want to do something, I tell them and they help me make it possible. So I'm really grateful for them, and I'm their international rep for sound design. So I'm just thrilled to do that for the next, I think that's for the next 4 years as well. And then to Apeiro Design, who is my employer, and they are also sponsoring my work for the OISTAT organization. And Apeiro designs theaters, large and small, all around the world. And I'm part of the team who do the sound and video systems for these theaters. Again, of any size, if it's small or large, but it's good. You know, we do good work. It's great work. So if you're aware of any projects, please let me know. Balin is here. He's also part of the AV team. He's kind of running the tech behind this today. He's helped a lot. And I'm also thankful to Lorna, who has helped us put all this together. And it's just great to see so many people interested in what we're doing here. So please reach out if we can help. And then finally, I'll mention ClearComm. ClearComm is the leader in production intercom worldwide, I'd say. Excuse me. And they are big supporters of live events and education in live theater. And they've helped me as well through my years. They support 2 awards at USIDT, the Stage Manager Award and the Robert E. Cohen Award in Sound Achievement. And I know we have 3 of those award winners here today. I'm not sure if we have more, but I was one of the winners, one of those a long time ago. I see Ian Hunter, who was also a winner. Jeff Sherwood was also a winner. And Chris Plummer, I believe, I'm not sure if he's on here or not, he signed up. But I've kind of lost my list of who's in the room. I'm not sure. There's probably more winners that have been there, and there's probably stage managers that have won too that are on. But anyway, very grateful to ClearComm for what they've done for the world. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Vinnie. Vinnie is a true pioneer in the field of digital audio and intercom systems. He formerly worked with RTS and Riedel. He was part of RockNet, and he now works at ClearComm. And Vinnie's written a guide, which you all got a link to. It's a free guide to production intercom systems. which I'd encourage you to download and use as a reference. And if not, you can go to that registration link again and you can get the link to his guide. If you have any questions or thoughts, please put them in the chat as we go. We'll take this whatever direction that you all want to. But Vinnie's going to kick it off now, talking about the process and people's approach to production intercom systems. Thank you so much.
Well, wish you were here. We've got donuts, but thank you. Thank you for signing up. This is exciting because this is the first one for the OISTAT, and we're specifically going to stay because everything we're talking about today is going to be referenced to performing arts and performance theater. And I viewed some of the preamble of a lot of people wrote in and said, I'd like to know about this, like to know about that. I want to get to all of that. But before we start, I think a good place to start talking about intercom, because unless you're an Apeiro, or I see my good friend Ian Hunter here, unless you're a company like Soleil or Apeiro, intercom is integral to almost every project that comes across your desk. If you're more or less a consultant or a sound designer on events and shows, you might not be involved with intercom periodically, or you wound up with a corporate client who happens to have a lecture hall, and then they need a theater system. So a lot of times I get a lot of inquiry about, don't you have a design guide? Doesn't ClearCom have a design guide? Well, what Brad had referred to was, I guess, a frustration of mine over many years of hearing hundreds and hundreds of people asking for a design guide. So I built one. It's very helpful. You're not going to design a television broadcast system from it, but you are going to be able to read it, understand the workflows, and how to get to the product that might suit the application, and that's where I want to start. So I mentioned the word workflows. So whenever you're going to build something or design something, you got to have a plan, and you have to go and talk to your client. How are you going to use this room? How are you going to use this building? And I think once you get to know the workflows pretty much come first, because I know that for my work, I want to start with what am I going to put in a person's hand? What are they going to communicate on? What it connects to comes much later. So I'll give you a good example that Brad and I talked about. If you have a performance space and you've got a front of house audio mixer, and you might have two audio A2s, and you might just have a back of house or monitor mixer, and maybe if you have the luxury of an RF tech, you've got 5 guys with one common thread. They all work in audio. So now I realize, all right, I have 5 guys that are a group. What would be appropriate for them would be a party line. Well, now I'm getting somewhere, a party line. So now once I get into the party line, I can look at maybe the other disciplines. So there might be lighting, there might be automation, there might be stagehands or people that are moving scenery, carpenters, spot operators. And so then I could start looking at these disciplines, and by the time I'm like close to being done, I realize, well, hey, I need an 8-channel intercom. because I got spots and lighting to do, and I need a spots private, I need an audio private, I need an electrics or a carpenter channel. So you see, what I'm getting at is once you know the workflows, it helps with narrowing down the design, because then you'll find out where, well, the stage manager, well, the stage manager's the guy that, he's the show caller, he's the guy that's running the show. In television, it's a director or a producer. And everybody needs a channel to listen to the cues. And so just lost my chain of thought. The party line is, I would say, from a very long time of experience, the most common protocol for intercom in theater. I mean, even at the beginning of a major sporting event, and you have a truck compound with 18 trucks, everybody's got one listen up, and that's the director who's calling. So everybody, believe it or not, even though they have point to points and they have a matrix and they have big thousands of ports talking to each other, they're all listening to the director count down the show and things. So they're all on a party line listen. So I think the workflows dictate where to go next. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, as a designer, I always say you start with the need, the end goals and what the users need in the end, and then you back it out.
Yeah. And then the choices become, okay, do I give them a wired system or do I give them a wireless system? And a wireless system is generally just an adjunct or an add-on to the wired system. For those people that need to be mobile. So if you have a audio guy, a front of house audio, he's not roaming, so he doesn't need a wireless bell pack. Well, maybe he wants one until they find out the cost, but maybe he wants one. But I mean, most of the time he's got a belt pack or maybe a multi-channel if he's talking to multiple disciplines, and a handset, because he can't have a headset because he's mixing audio. So you give him a handset, but he's stationary. So you got to think about those people who need a wired device and a wireless device. Spot operators. I've got nothing against lighting people, but they don't need a wireless belt pack. Matter of fact, they might not even need to talk.
Well, I mean, I was a system tech for Beatles Love, and we couldn't afford wireless comm for everybody. So what we gave some people was just IEMs, and they could hear the production channel, but they couldn't talk.
Oh, okay.
You
Well,
know,
there's a solution, and that's creative for that kind of budget.
And also we didn't need a lot of chatter on the production channel either, so they didn't need to talk.
Well, that gets into etiquette and stuff, which we don't need to talk about here. But if you're not involved, don't turn your talk on. And you never know what somebody's listening to. So, and you never know what somebody's going to say. So be conscious.
We can tell stories all day.
I could. Oh, wow. So workflows are things. So, where maybe we should just give you a little heads up. So the industry has moved rather rapidly after digital came, and almost everything today is on a network. And so if this talk is more a generic. It's not really about ClearComm. ClearComm is the sponsor. I am the consultant liaison, and I work on some of the bigger projects at ClearComm. But it's more agnostic. It's about comms in general. But I can tell you that there's the analog two-wire, very robust systems are still quite popular, especially when you Brad would attest to this. The practicality of intercoms. Intercoms, everything in the world now is more money. But when you start to get into the high schools or the smaller projects, you know, a digital bell pack from any of the major manufacturers is over $1,100. And so when you look at digital bell pack and you look at the workflows, and then you look at the needs, and you say, does a spot operator need an $1,100 bell pack? And 9 out of 10 times, no, practicality comes in. They never move. They're always up there. And could an analog bell pack save the day? Yeah, but that now we have to get into, you know, cabling and wiring. Everybody likes Cat5 cable now run to the building. We don't see wall plates with XLRs. They're now RJ45s, because those connectors, that RJ45 now comes back to a patch bay, where today I plug in an IP camera, and in the rack room I put it in the switch. That's the IP camera. I put in a IP transceiver for a wireless. I put it in the switch where it hooks to the intercom. So it's more wide open nowadays. The shortcoming of the analog stuff is all predicated on the wire. So when you have a twisted pair wire, analog twisted pair wire in a box, and it's tied to channel 1 of the party line, and you need channel 2, you need to go find channel 2. The nicety about the digital and the IP stuff is you make a change, and boom, you've got whatever channel, or you make the change in the device if you allow the user to be able to do that himself. So things are moving rather quickly. I can't say everything that is available is applicable in the theater. We have intercom on here. There are many manufacturers that have intercom on mobile devices, on tablets and on phones and on PCs. One of the organizations that ClearComm supports is the SMA in USA and in the UK, and the Broadway Stage Managers Symposium. And we did a webinar for stage managers. And for me, it was like, of course, stage managers, they're the people that use the intercom the most. So we did a webinar and showed the stage managers an app with the intercom, because literally you can be on the beach in Aruba and talk to a bell pack in Taiwan. It's that ubiquitous now. It's all IP. But what hit the stage manager was, you mean I can have my cue list on my tablet and my intercom, and I could walk around the stage? And yeah. Yeah, now not for everybody, but that's where it's going. That's where it's going. I don't want to even mention the cloud, but that's something that we have developed, and we'll be showing this end of this week in Las Vegas at the National Association of Broadcasters. Not for everybody, again, but cloud production. So we've got analog party line that is quite suitable for most and practical. I keep using that word, but it's practical. Staying on that for a second. In a lot of my work, when we do redo auditoriums, one of my first questions is, what do they have now? Well, they have some of this and some of that. And I'd say, don't throw it away. We'll repurpose it. And you don't know where that comes in useful. So don't throw your old stuff away, because you can certainly repurpose it. But so we have still have the analog. We have the digital version of the analog, a digital version of Party Line, made by every major manufacturer of intercom out there that you know. And then we've got wireless. The wireless intercom is quite robust nowadays. I mean, you can easily put 50 bell packs in the air in one place in the United States. They moved away from the lower UHF frequencies now, and all of that's in the 1.9 gigahertz range, or 2.4 gigahertz range, or in the 5 gigahertz range. And so when you get into the 1.9 and 2.4 is more plug and play than 5 gigahertz, where it needs to be coordinated. So you've got party. I'm talking about a Party Line now, right? So you got analog Party Line, digital Party Line, which is IP based too. Then you got wireless. For the most part, is a Party Line tool. Although once you start getting into wireless, they're almost like a matrix, where I can have a bell pack and I can have a button on my bell pack where I press that button and I'm only talking to Brad's bell pack. So the wireless starts to become very matrix-like in terms of point to point, but it still does groups. It still does Party Line, but it's thing. And then you move from those three disciplines, those three product offerings, on up to the matrix, the digital matrix. And I saw some of the write-ins where I want to talk about the matrix. I would say this about a matrix intercom. They're fabulous. You can do more things with a matrix intercom than we don't have enough time in a day to talk about a matrix intercom. I think there are two things that are not so great about a matrix in a performing arts center. One is cost. You're looking at a significant startup cost for a matrix. The second is personnel. You need a person who is going to be responsible for that. And if you don't have those two things, then a matrix might not be for you. And nowadays, so you have this great lineup of tools, and then you jump from those tools right into a big matrix. Now you're seeing from the three major manufacturers, something in between the Party Line and the matrix workflows. And they are, let's call them hybrid systems, central stations that have the Party Line, the digital Party Line, the wireless, and some matrix capability built into these little boxes that offer you a really sweet solution for from mid-size to large-size scale of projects. And I'm giving it. I think that the conversation right now is just about what's available, what tools are there, how to kind of like get your head around how to specify these things. I mean, for most of you, this is common knowledge, but for you people who haven't wondering where to start, scratch your head. You could certainly email me. I've got reams of information and I'll spend some time on the phone with you or on a meeting like this, and I could share a page and show you drawings and get you started on design. That's not a problem. So that's pretty much the lay of the land of what's available today from the industry manufacturers.
Cool. No, I think it's
you have
great.
any-
I think, I mean, I can say I've done 4 shows on Broadway, and the first one I went in thinking, oh, it's great. We've got free speak and it's going to be amazing. We've got HelixNet and
Digital party line, yeah.
digital party line. I overthought it. And we didn't have enough time to get set up what I had in my mind. And what it came down to, they need the basics. And we made the basics work. We didn't get all the private lines set up. We didn't get all the things.
Right.
But in the end, we didn't need those to run the show. So you kind of have to boil it down to how much time do you have. If you don't have a good programmer there to help you do it, you may not be able to make it terribly complex. Start simple.
Yeah, start simple.
The other thing that I do is for when we design buildings, so we're setting up more permanent systems than temporary systems, and we do a lot of linking with the comms. And one of the questions that we got was about Dante. Sometimes I use Dante to get to the paging system. So with the Arcadia system, if you're sticking with ClearComm, you can take Dante out of the comm system, go to your paging system, and do that. You can also do monitoring if you need to get program from the sound system into the comm, somebody that's in a remote section. You can bring it in that way, or you can bring it in with analog. There's so many different ways.
You're so true. Well, yes. So when we were talking about, the kind of staple, the staple party line stuff, and then we jumped to the matrix. This interim box does support Dante, and when ClearComm is like most manufacturers, they're not perfect, and sometimes we can't see the forest through the trees. So all of our devices traditionally has only one stage announce output. Well, as theaters grew and they got more complex, and you got Opera House and a black box and then another 2,800 seat theater in it, and they got 4 dressing rooms. One stage announce doesn't cut it. So we all of our devices now support Dante. My opinion, Dante has to be probably the most prevalent IP audio transport being used today. I mean, I think we can all agree on that. I mean, we support AES 67 as well, because we have to, on the broadcast side, support that SMPTE 2110 protocols happening in broadcast. But you don't see in theater AES 67 being scooted around the theater. You see Dante out of the console, Dante maybe into your wireless mics from the console, Dante monitoring. Yeah, we paging is a topic, and we have an offer for those people listening who are designers. We offer an API from almost all of our products into other products such as QSYS. So when you're in the intercom and you're connected to a QSYS, we can do a little bit of logic. When I press this button, I want this to happen in the QSYS. we're very open. Very open with that. We also have APIs into some of the control systems like Crestron. We maybe not for theater, but sitting in the middle of this desk is an IP phone. And we can incorporate the IP phones into the intercom. So it's a SIP connection, a SIP connection. So if you have a wardrobe department and the scenery department, and even a house manager who's got an IP phone on his desk, they could pick up their phone, star 1, 2, 3, 4, and it'll tally the stage manager, and they could talk. We can incorporate that in. Not everything, but I'm just giving you some of the advanced programming that we do, and that's an adjunct, and just like an API to talk to. I'll give you an example. I worked with a consultant who wanted to dial the SIP from a Crestron panel. And so they hit a button on the thing, you hear in the ClearCom, boop, 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 and it engages the thing, and we throw the intercom into the IP phone system. So those are the kinds of Dante interface. We have all of them. We have the other manufacturers as well have that. So how much time do we have? We have an hour.
We got another,
25 minutes?
25, 30 minutes.
30 minutes, yeah. You
Yeah,
want to take a question?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, but I also got a message that due to the large number of participants, system messages have been disabled. So I don't know if you're unable. So if you have questions, please just raise your hand or open and speak, open your mic and speak. The one question I did get is about nulling. What is nulling? Is that even a thing anymore? I think it probably is.
It is. Nulling is a process of taking the send out of the receive. And I'll draw what a nulling circuit is, but the most common place you'll see it and how it manifests itself to why you need to know is when you have an intercom, a party line intercom, and you say you interface a wireless to it, 4-wire, and all of a sudden you got an echo. Where did that echo come from? Well, you need to know the line. And so we're gonna draw. Let's draw. They could see it. Okay. So here's an input. 4-wire. Here's your output. 4-wire. Here's your party line. So when you bring the 4-wire in to go onto the party line, it also listens to itself. And now you have an echo. So what we do, and everybody does, is there's a nulling circuit. And the nulling circuit does this. And in here, it's going to be a little too small, but I'll put it up here. LCR. There's inductance, capacitance, and resistance in all of this wire. And this could be hundreds and hundreds of feet of wire. So when we tune this, and I'm an old guy, so the old way of doing it was manually. Nowadays, you know, everything is smart. So you go to your refrigerator, you tap on your refrigerator, it shows you everything inside. Like, okay, so nowadays, these nulling circuits are automatic. You press a button and it nulls the line. But before you had to take a tweaker and you you put a tone, there's a tone on the line, 400 hertz tone, and you change, you null these things out until you don't hear the tone anymore. And it's null. But it does one more thing. It does one more thing, and that is this circuit here. It inverts the polarity. What we have here is an inverted polarity here. This is plus and minus. So we're inverting the polarity. You know what happens when you turn a banana over, or you invert the polarity. You basically take the signal out, and that's how you get rid of the null, and that's nulling. And it's in we've got books on this and stuff that I put together, and be happy to send it to you, or you can go on clearcom.com and look for the party line, used for the party line guidebook, and that kind of circuit is in there. So nulling is there's many products out there, not just ours. Many companies like Studio Technologies, Glen Sound, RTS makes them. We make one. It's a 2-wire to 4-wire, and in it is a nulling circuit. Matter of fact, our wireless, some other wireless products, Pliant Wireless has a 2-wire and a 4-wire connection to go to other wired intercoms. They have a nulling circuit in there. So it's still relevant. It's still common. When you tie these elements together, you're gonna need to know. There's some key aspects about when you tie this in that you need to know. First of all, you need to make sure that everything is connected, and you're done connecting things, because as soon as you change the load over on the PL side, if you change the load, like add another 100 feet or add a couple of 100 feet of more belt pack, you got to renull. So you want to make sure that you're set, ready to go. All of the talks are off, and off you go. And that's nulling. I'm pretty sure there was a question on matrix.
There was,
I think
nitty-gritty of multi-channel matrix design, typical channel configuration.
I don't think this forum is a place to discuss how to design a matrix intercom, but to give you a feel for it, a matrix intercom is basically we call it a full summing, non-blocking audio router, which basically says any input or number of inputs can go to any output or number of outputs with level control at the cross point. So I'll use Curtis as an example because I see him moving over there. I've got a user station. Brad's got a user station. Curtis has a user station, and I want to hear Curtis louder than Brad. Well, I can go to that cross point and turn it up, and that's the power of an audio matrix, such as an intercom matrix. Believe me, when you get into big shows where you have hundreds of ports, and I'll explain a port in a minute, you better know what you're doing, because then you're going to screw a lot of levels up. So a matrix is a card frame. Doesn't have to be a card frame, but most of the time they're card frames. The cards that go in, it's got a brain, CPU, it's microprocessor based, and the cards that go in there is, of course, an analog 4-wire card. And that's still very relevant because if you ever have a need to interface to professional cameras, Ikegami, Sony, Panasonic, you name the camera. The intercom connection is a DB25 and it's analog 4-wire audio. Even though the camera is spitting out 8K video and it's IP based, the comms connection is analog. Every camera, I don't care, today it's analog. So we have a 4-wire card, and a 4-wire card is quite useful because sometimes you want to go out 4-wire into maybe a wireless microphone or a IFB transmitter. A lot of them are analog. So an analog card, quite important. Then we have a MADI card, a Dante card, an IP card. All the frames are the same. Every manufacturer has this. They have IP. They have IP with their own secret sauce. We have our secret sauce. They have their secret sauce. MADI card, the Dante card. That's about it.
We got some students on here. What's IFB?
Oh, IFB.
You mentioned it, so I'm just.
No, that's excellent. I'm sorry. IFB. If you ever, it's an acronym for
What's I stand for?
interrupt,
Fold back.
interrupt, fold back.
Interesting.
So fold back on a stage when you're watching the Rolling Stones, they have monitors in front of them on the floor, speakers, that thing, that's fold back. Nobody's interrupting anything. That's them hearing themselves. Well, in a television, if you ever watch television or on your iPad or whatever, a newscaster or sports announcer, you might see a little earpiece in their ear. Or sportscasters, you'll see they're wearing a headset with a thing, and they're calling the play-by-play or they're calling the color. That's IFB. They're listening to the director. So in a news situation, the director, you have multiple cameras in a studio, and a director saying camera 1, and today the camera 5, the camera 5's over there, and they're getting direction from the director, cues, just like stage managers calling cues. They're also getting, we need to go to commercial in 5, and then they can wrap their thing. That's IFB, where the director is interrupting them on air, and a talent is getting a combination of program that includes the other talent in the studios, maybe a weatherman or other anchors at the table, minus themselves. That's called a mix minus. Talk about that. Well, it's all documented if you want to read up on this. But an IFB is basically in the ear. You see performers today. Name a performer on stage. They have a little in the ear. They're listening to whatever mix helps them. Maybe the other singers, maybe they like to hear the bass guitar, maybe they need to listen to the piano. That's in the ear. The only difference is we put the I in front where somebody is interrupting them to give them a cue.
And so you use the 4-wire to get in and out of that.
We use a 4-wire,
You don't really get out of that. You only get into that.
Yeah. Another form of IFB would be a loudspeaker in a dressing room or in a green room, and you're feeding show program, and then the stage manager gets on, interrupts the program, ducks it or puts it out and says, I need all the angels on stage in 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And then the program comes back. That's an IFB in the theater.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Where sometimes I use Dante for that, and I'll
Yeah,
put
sure,
a noise gate or
absolutely.
something on the program feed, so it gets ducked down. The announcement comes through, and then the program comes back up when the announcement stops.
Correct. And you have to make sure, you have to make sure that always will come through the system.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, the talent will sit in the dressing room and they'll turn the speaker all the way off because they're talking
Yeah.
to their girlfriend or their boyfriend on the phone, and they'll miss a cue.
Yeah, well, and I mean, Paul Garrity designed an analog system that it's the volume control.
he had that
70
relay in
volt.
it. He had
It
that
a
relay.
relay that would bypass
Yeah,
the
yeah.
volume control, make sure the page got through, and then it would,
Yeah.
turn back off.
Yeah,
So,
fabulous,
great.
fabulous. So matrix, so the
Yeah.
matrix allows for a more, the key to the matrix is the user panels. The user panels offer more key sets for the user. So where you have a 2-channel belt pack or a 4-channel belt pack or an 8-channel belt pack, or a remote station, 4-channel remote station, we can put 32, up to 32 keys in front of somebody if they need it. 12, 24, 32 keys. So now I can have not only my stage man, my stage crew, my automation, but all of these party lines. But then I can have point to points, and I can have I can talk to the producer directly without anybody else hearing me. One-to-one conversation. I can have, if I have 6 dressing rooms, I can put each one on a key and only page those dressing rooms instead of sending it all out. It gives you more granularity on the destinations that you might need to talk to. So we haven't really gotten into the minutia of this. I mean, this is just a more of a 30,000 foot view of what's available today.
Yeah.
Some of the work, thinking about how to approach it.
Mhm.
I'm available certainly for
Yeah,
any questions or whatever.
right. And I'll share, is it okay to share your email? with these folks?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
I'll share that at the end. Before we go any further, there's one more question from Ian Hunter that I want to address, but could everybody that's willing turn your camera on? I want to do a screenshot of everybody just to memorialize the event. I just love that. And I'll take a
look at all these
screenshot. I want
faces.
to see everybody's pretty faces, and
Oh, nice.
at least 4 or 5 different countries represented here, and it's really exciting to me to see everybody coming together.
Hopefully the internet won't go down.
Yeah, exactly. And once we see all these pretty faces, I'm going to do a screenshot. But while that's happening, Ian had asked about, is there anything interesting coming down the pike? Let me read his exact thing. Could you discuss what future innovations might be coming in the world of production intercom? Do you have any secrets that you could tell us, or is there any kind of trends that you're seeing about things coming down, or is AI involved in production intercoms at all? I almost hope not sometimes, but
I could say this. Well, I can't divulge anything that ClearCom might be working on, but I can certainly talk to the things that seems to be popping up. Certainly, and it is on large events like opening closing ceremonies in international games, or in the US, a show like the Super Bowl or Grammys, or some of those award presentation shows. um, 50, 80 wireless belt packs, not enough.
Wow.
Not enough at all. And so there needs to be a solution where you can put more belt packs in the air. And unfortunately, the solutions that are currently with the manufacturers that make wireless are we have our hands tied behind our back by the FCC. Because we're only allowed a certain segment of the bandwidth in a certain like 1.9, the decked band is 188 to 193 megahertz. So 1888 to 1930 megahertz. In Europe, you can use all of that. In America, you're limited from 1920 to 1930. So in Europe, you can easily put 100 belt packs in the air. In America, only put 50 maximum. Now, you could put 2 co-located systems on a show. So you have 50 belt packs here, 50 belt packs here. These guys are on these antennas. These guys are on these antennas. Unfortunately, these belt packs can't roam and get on these because it's a separate system. The best you can do is tie the 2 systems together audio wise. So that's something that's a challenge that we're looking at, is how to get more belt packs in the air. And if it is, what RF format might that be? Might it be 900 megahertz? Might it be a LTE solution? So that's something to look at. From certain parts of the industry are obviously, you see it every day. And it's not just audio industry. It's up in the cloud. You know, cloud production. Ever since COVID, when people had to work out of their houses, and I could see a lot of you guys are home. Well, as an example, NHL is calling a game. The director is in his kitchen calling a national hockey game. He's calling 12 cameras from his kitchen. Because everything's in the cloud and they bring it down. And we're introducing the cloud solution at NAB this year. We've got it working. It's not for everybody. I mean,
What kind of, could you use that for a live show? What kind of latency is involved in that kind of
it's not much.
situation?
It's not much because
that's what's...
I'll tell you how we're doing. Depends on your cloud, where your cloud is. So we're going to use Google. And we'll have a cloud in Tokyo, a cloud in Europe, a cloud on the East Coast in America, a cloud on the West Coast in America, and a cloud in Brazil, I think. So if your show is in New York, you'll use the Google Cloud on the East Coast. If your show is in India, you'll use the Asian. So that cuts down the latency a lot.
I mean,
but it's not. I mean, now so a lot of people are okay with the latency. I'm not. I don't sit on a train and watch a full blown movie on my phone. But there are people that do, and they're okay with that. But the cloud is here, and I don't see it for theater right now. I mean, once you have your intercom on site and it's wired and it works, why?
Yeah, I mean, I've yet to hear about a show that's been called remotely, but it's probably happened. But,
Well,
think
I can
there's
tell you-
safety concerns, there's just the fact that, yeah,
Well,
you know,
well,
what's the
well,
point?
Well, our good friend, I think I think you know Jason Crystal.
Hmm.
Okay, so Hamilton, big Broadway production, opened in London. Right as COVID ended. And as COVID ended, as you might know, people were getting COVID still. And they were like, oh my God, what if the house mixer gets COVID and he can't show up to mix the show? What do? They mixed the show from New York. They mixed the London show from New York. I'm just saying, it's possible.
Wow.
Possible. Yeah, Jason, he explained it to me and it was quite, I mean, it's all possible. Like I said, you can be on the beach in Aruba and listen to show program from pick a place, Chicago. It's a far cry from an analog bell pack. So
That's cool.
we can't see any questions or no?
I think we've hit all of them, that are unique. There were some general ones that you already covered, but yeah, I wonder if anybody has any other questions for Vinnie, number one, and number two, anything about OISTAT or any of the other events. What did you think about this event? Would you like to see this happen every quarter? Would you like to run one of these events? We're a volunteer organization.
Can
We
they
would
open their mic? and
love
just
to
speak?
do it. So please feel free to open your mic and chat with us if you want to. We got at least till 10:15, but we can keep things going as long as people want to stay on and chat.
Say something.
So let's hear you.
Anybody.
Or did we
Anytime.
put you to sleep? I see somebody's having their lunch. That's good. I
No.
haven't had my breakfast yet.
I
Where's
got one, no big album. I mean,
Yeah,
you also
yeah.
mentioned, it's quite basic, but you mentioned 2-wire and 4-wire, the one, explain the differences and was it common?
Whoa, 2 wires and 4 wires, huh?
Like a basic, I think we're talking about.
Do we know what a 2 wire is? Do we know what a 4 wire is? To the board.
Four.
2 wire, 4 wire.
So how many wires does a 2-wire have?
3.
Exactly. Let's keep it.
Yeah, so let's start with this first. 2 wire and 4 wire are analog terms for a circuit. For a 2-wire intercom circuit or 4-wire comes from before most of us were on the planet. Comes from the old Bell system, the old telephone guys. They created ways to get a telephone circuit miles on a piece of copper. So I don't know how many of you have ever had a piece of single shielded twisted pair in your hand. But if I'll draw it here too. All right, so you have a cable, and out of that cable comes 3 wires, right? A red, a black, and we'll call it a drain, right? And say this is 20 gauge. The red and the black will be 20 gauge. The drain will be one size smaller. It'll be 22 gauge. If this was 18 gauge, this would be 18 gauge, this would be 18 gauge. The drain will be 20 gauge. The drain is always one size small. Did you know this?
Yep.
Everybody's learning something. So a twisted pair, I don't care what it is, Belden 9451 or or a 18 gauge hookup wire that's shielded twisted pair, the drain will always be one size smaller. Why is that important? Because all of the analog party lines that are out there, and there's really not many people that make it other than ClearComm and RTS, there's a couple of others. We use this drain for the return. So one wire is the audio, the other wire is the power, and the other one is the return path, which needs to be low impedance, because guess what you get if it's not? Crosstalk. Crosstalk is you press channel A and you hear channel C. That's called crosstalk. It's always in the wiring. I don't care if you're on a gig and you've got an intercom in front of you and you press the button to talk on the intercom and you hear another, say you want to talk to the audio guys. You press the audio channel and you hear the lighting guys, that's called crosstalk. This is all in the books. That's called crosstalk, and the big problem with that is the wiring. It's only with analog cable, by the way. So this is a 2-wire circuit, even though there's 3 wires. That's a 2-wire circuit. 1, 2. It's unbalanced. 4-wire. So actually, what you have here on a 2-wire circuit is the talk and the listen are on one path. On a 4 wires, you've got the talk and the listen. Plus, minus, plus, minus. So ClearComm does it like this, but maybe other manufacturers like RTS does it. We do it on an RJ45 Cat5 cable. RTS does it on a 6-pin RJ45. So if you take apart an Ethernet cable, there are 8 wires in an Ethernet cable. There's the orange pair, the green pair, the blue pair, and the brown pair. So if this was a Ethernet cable, Ethernet, boy, I can't. If this is an Ethernet cable, we use, actually, this is wrong. This is transmitted and this is received. Right? Out, in. So we call it 4-wire. It's basically audio out and audio in. Analog. It doesn't have to be intercom. And as a matter of fact, they don't need to be associated. So this could be an IFB out, and this could be a program in. They don't have to be associated with each other. And then the other pairs we don't use. We use the blue pair for in and the green pair for out. And this doesn't have to be an IFB. This could be analog into biamp or into a crown amp or whatever your feet. It's analog audio line level. That's a 4-wire. That's a 2-wire.
Cool.
Basically.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to open their mics and ask a question or chat? Yes, David.
Turn the mic on.
Hello.
Where are you from, David?
I'm coming from Colorado.
Nice.
Yeah. But I wanted to kind of like dig deeper into this. This is something that's been kind of bothering me about comm and how I don't really understand it. So in a 4-wire system, we have a positive and negative for transmit and a positive negative for receive. How is it possible for ClearComm in a 2-wire system to send and receive at the same time full duplex audio? That is something that I don't fully understand.
How do we do the 2-wire?
I mean, in a 2-wire
We
system,
get
how is it
send and
possible
receive
down
on
one
two-
conductor? Say what?
Send and receive on one conductor, yes.
Yeah.
How do you do that? And it's to do with that nulling circuit that you drew, right?
It's astounding in it that on one mic cable, we can do a complete bi-directional full duplex audio channel on one mic cable. Invented in 1968. Think about that. And guess what was doing that in 1930s? The telephone company.
Mhm.
The telephone
Yeah.
company was modulating and doing all of that back when. Dave, I can't explain that. I promise you, I will send you reams of data on how that's done. But it's quite astounding to me today that we can put a full duplex audio conversation on on 2 wires.
And it's to do with the nulling circuit that you showed before, right?
Well, no, the nulling is really when you want to interface the 2-wire to something else, and you have to get all that wire and all that artifacts of the circuit out.
All right, so send me the info too.
Yeah,
Because I want to
yeah,
understand it
yeah,
better.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that paperwork. I like reading about circuits. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we can always regroup too.
I mean, David, it's. I don't know how to
It's
explain
magic.
it.
It's flat out magic. Yeah.
It's like sometimes I call wireless voodoo, because you never know when you put up a wireless mic. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'll tell you a hint for everybody. In the back to the cabling. When you have a twisted pair, analog twisted pair shielded cable, a bozo no for intercom, anybody's intercom, star quad cable. If you ever, do you know it? You ever hear of it? Star quad cable. Never use it for intercom. Doesn't work. You will not get very far. Could we go to the board? I'll show you. I'll show you what. If you ever strip back a star quad, you'll see, here's the cable. You'll see 2 blue, 2 white, and a drain. And what they do is they twist the white and they twist. Now, in this cable, this conductor has a certain impedance to the drain. It's relative, right? So this conductor has a certain impedance. This does. And now you just twisted the 2 together. So what you just did was double the impedance on this cable. And then you do that again here. So what should have been a 6 ohm impedance winds up to be 50 ohms. You don't want to use star quad, especially for digital party line. It just won't go far. Just won't go far.
All right. Anybody else? Anybody interested in going to Sharjah for World Stage Design? You want to be part of Sound Kitchen? You want to speak on a panel? You want to come learn? Anybody want to I was talking to Jamie Anderson and also talking to Meyer Sound about doing our next quarterly event about optimization. So I think that might be in the Turnpike if anybody's interested. Cool. I'm going to share, if nobody else has a comment, I'm going to share one last slide here. And this is contact information for me and Vinnie. And so the left is my email address. You can email me anything for more information. That's the registration link. You just go there and just register again and click the boxes and put in the comments what you want information on. I'll make sure it gets to the right person about any of our sponsors. For Vinnie, there's his email address. For me, there's my email address. Yeah,
Please don't be shy. Email me. I will respond.
yeah, and me too. Me too. So just let us know what we can do to serve you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll leave this slide up for a couple minutes so
First-
you can make sure you have it. But otherwise, hopefully we'll see you next time.
First one comes to a close, hey?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome, David. I'll send it.
Have a good one.
Send me an email.
Yeah, I'm on my way to do that now. Thank you.
Super.
Thank you. Bye-bye.